Good evening, everyone. I'm Suzanne Shirley, Senior Ruby Ambassador. And this is our last installation of What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstedder. Now, this has been an incredible study. I don't know about y'all, but I really have enjoyed this. It has been eye-opening. We are going to cover the last 3 chapters of the book, chapter 21, 22, 23. We will be finished. I am going to tell you that I ordered another book by him because when we get to it, the last chapter of the book, he talks about, here we go, second to last chapter of the book, he's talking about making your own tapes. And he's written a book. Let me just share my screen. He has written a book called, well, take that back. I thought I was going to share my screen. Hang on. I'm going to do it because I want everybody to see this. But for right now, I got to make sure that I've got the right screen up. All right, now I think I can share my screen. Hang on. I want you to see this. This is Amazon.com. Now, in the book, it's called The Complete Guide to Self-Talk, in which he has basically an expository style of writing out a script for 55 different topics in self-talk that you need to manage your life, whether it's organization, weight loss, you name it. And I thought, well, you know what? That would be worth its weight in gold. I want to get my hands on that script. Who wants to reinvent the wheel, people? I don't want to sit down. And he talks about sitting down and writing your own script. And you know what? I think there is value in that. Obviously, there's proof. Now, this book right here is the only one I could find, but I did go ahead and read the contents. The first half of the book discusses the programming and what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. But basically, we have a whole book that does that. The second half of the book is all scripts. It's all scripts. So the value in that is going and taking your self-recording device, your phone. There is a memo application on your phone. There is a memo application. If you're on the iPhone, I'm going to show you this. Hope you've written down the name of that. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. This is what it looks like. Voice memos. It's that one right in the middle. Looks like a little heart rate deal. Okay, that's a voice memo app. You know, that's already downloaded onto your iPhone if you already have that. You can record as many as your phone will hold as long as you want. You do not have to hold your thumb down on a button to record. You're not limited with time. You can say whatever you want. Do you know that one of these on here, that my memos is 20 minutes long, and it's my why? It's my why. I rewrote, or should I say re-recorded my why, and I put it on a voice memo, and it's 20 minutes long. And you can't tell me that listening to that in my own voice doesn't give me something to work hard for. Talking about my dreams. I'm telling you something. That voice memo thing is powerful. So get yourself a hold of that book if you want the scripts like I do. And also, as you can see, it comes in Audible. So the Audible download is there for you. I will say it was written in 1987 or so, somewhere in there, 1988. Still very valuable. Okay, so he talks about, I don't want to spend 15 years on this because it's general stuff that we need to know here. 3 self-talk categories of people. There's 3 types of people in self-talk. Number 1 category, people that apply and use it regularly. They know that there's going to be something they can get out of this, and they go at it like a bulldog. Okay, they believe that their life is going to change because they're going to use this, and they do it. Number 2, people that casually use it because they just think that it could be good in certain situations, and they just casually apply it to their life when they feel like it's necessary. And then the 3rd type of people that don't use it at all, and they get no benefit from it whatsoever. So at least if you're in category 1 or 2, or A or B, the way he lists it, then he has a few things of advice that he wants to give you, some practical steps. If you don't follow any of these, your results will be minor. If you give them your best efforts, you add some of the personal enthusiasm, You got to add personal enthusiasm and determination to your voice when you say these. You're going to create in your life new and exciting adventures. You're going to open doors, seek new opportunities, conquer new challenges, and achieve new rewards. You will accomplish things which very few others ever dream of doing. Now, the thing is do you believe that? If you believe that, then you will do it. You will actually invest in personal self-talk. You will do the things that no one else can ever do for you. You have to do them yourself. We know that we are in charge of our own self-management. We know that we're in charge of our own emotions. We're in charge of our own finances. We're in charge of what goes in our mouth. We're in charge of what comes out of our mouth. We're in charge. And if we take control of what goes on in our head and then control what comes out of our mouth and what we start to think, we can literally start to reprogram and change our whole destiny. And if you really do believe that he's telling you the truth in this book, then you will do it, okay? But you're going to have to commit to taking the time to do it. I'm going to preach to self here. Preach to self, because yes, it takes time. You're going to have to simplify it. If you're spending too much time on this, you need to simplify it and do it every day, but make sure it's simple or you're not going to do it. We've learned if something's too complex, you're going to just never do it. Why would anyone want to do it if it's complex? Make it simple and do it every day. There's 4 steps you need to take advantage of. Number 1, listening to your own self-talk. Number 2, listen to the self-talk of others. Number 3, make a list of your own past self-talk. And number 4, become aware of the influences of media talk, like how you're programmed from outside sources. So you're going to need to sit down and listen to your, like for 48 hours, take note of every single frivolous, thoughtless, subconscious, not conscious, whatever thought that comes across your mind about yourself. You need to start noticing that. If you've never done that before, it asked you to do that in a previous chapter. You need to actually take the time to do it. Watch, listen for both kinds of self-talk, the negative and the positive. Notice especially the self-talk that creeps up on you unconsciously that you're not even aware of. Listen to the way that you respond to problems and the way that you react to opportunities. Watch your reaction to risks. That's very key. Can you count yourself as basically a negative or a positive person? That's what you're going to have to ask yourself. As a result of 48 hours of listening to your self-talk, are you negative or positive? I'm going to be honest with you. I think I'm still negative. That's really not fun to admit that, because I am always expecting the other shoe to fall. You know, I'm just being honest with you. This takes work. Is the thing easy? Yeah. Is it mechanically easy? Yes. The science behind it, easy. Absolutely. It takes daily work. Have I gotten neglectful of it? Yes. Have I gotten arrogant and think I've just sponsored 12 people in 3 months? I think I got this down. Don't get so arrogant, Suzanne. Hello. Did I just sign up 6 new people into the 7-day challenge? Yes, I did. I just made $120 on 7-day trials, and that was old Plexus Slim, original Slim. I'm like, Suzanne, you rock. Don't get so arrogant, because you're still saying negative things to yourself. You know, the pride cometh before a fall, and I'm still saying negative things to myself. I'm still expecting the bad thing to happen. I'm still expecting, well, those points aren't really going to come up at the end of the month. I mean, come on. We have got to change. And in order, if I'm going to ask you to do it, I have to do it. And I've got to get committed to it. I haven't been as consistent on the self-talk as I have been on IPA. I've just been doing IPA and not doing the self-talk. Eventually, IPA is not going to happen, and the self-talk is the only thing that's going to get me out of my hole, because it's going to go like this, and then it's going to go back down again, because that's just what we do. We go in waves in this business. We're on a sponsoring high. We are sponsoring. We've got people going. We've got people joining. And then if we haven't filled the funnel the previous 3 months, we're going to go down like that, and then there's not going to be an up. Those are sponsoring, right? That's Tara Castaneda did a video about that. the waves of sponsoring or whatever. It's the different phases of it. So right now I'm reaping the rewards of the 90-day challenge. I've got so many people to reach out to and talk to and that are interested. It's crazy. But if I don't keep those reach outs going, if I don't keep them going, the next 90 days is going to be like an abyss in a dry desert. So hear me, friends. If you have stopped reaching out on a daily basis, you are going to shoot yourself in the foot come July and August. Hear me on that. Do not stop doing your 3 a day. Minimum, get your 3. Minimum, get your 3. Go to bed. Don't go to bed till you get your 3. Okay? And that's speech over on that. So that's number 1, listen to your own self-talk. Are you negative or positive? Okay? Number 2, listen to the self-talk of other people, especially the self-talk of your own family members, close friends, your associates at work. There's no faster way to convince yourself how anti-productive negative self-talk can be than watching somebody else put themselves through it. You're watching somebody destroy themselves with negative self-talk. I tell you what, it's eye-opening when you see that. You know, and as I see people that are so negative and the first thing comes out of their mouth is something negative, or they're hateful, or they're spiteful, or they're angry about something, it just goes to show they've been thinking about that all day. They've been thinking about negative things all day. And whatever's coming out of their mouth at that point is a result of their thoughts. So they are toxic. And I sit there and feel very sorry for them. I take pity on them. Observe. Listen to what we call opinions. All opinions reflect either our own beliefs, when we have no opinion for our own, the beliefs of others. Listen to that, because others people's beliefs affect our own. Notice how it influences somebody's self-talk. Other people's beliefs, right? And their opinions. Also look for signs of who's in control of that person's life. Who's in control of your best friend's life? Who's in control of your brother's life? Is your brother in control of his own self? Is your best friend in control of her own life? Or does somebody control her? Somebody's opinions, their beliefs, their influence. Think about that. Who's wielding the stick or the cushion? The boss, the spouse, the social image, the money, the security. Or a person's self-talk will always tell you, if you listen long enough, what their external motivations are. Wow, that is powerful. It's very powerful. Listen for something called social talk. It's like keeping up with the Joneses talk. People that are always talking about how I've got to do this or I need to do that because somebody else is doing it. Listen for that. That's going to really blow your mind. And you're going to start to see how so many people around you are living in mental mediocrity. Or should I say the mental abyss? Wow. Make a list of your own past self-talk. Now, when I compare, when I just read that and I compare all that to my own so-called negative self-talk, I feel a lot better because I'm not living in a mental abyss. I'm not living in a mental cesspool. Yes. Am I neurotic about a few things? Yes. Do I overanalyze? Yes. Do I have a meltdown over small things? Yes, I can do that. Okay. But describing some of the things I just described, I am nothing like that. So if you're not like that, at least you can be grateful, right? Make a list of your own past self-talk. Write it down on a sheet of paper. The 10, this is what he asked you to do. You know what? I did it. I could come up with 10 of the most common things that I say to myself all the time. You want a few of them? Number 1, I can't do math. I can't do math. I can't count this up. I don't know what that said. I don't know how to count that up. I'm really bad at math. That's one of my number 1 things I always say. You know, I always say I overanalyze everything. I'm always overthinking things. I'm always overanalyzing things. That's negative self-talk, guys. No, I've written down quite a few. There's 2 of them. Did you write yours down? That's what I'd like to know. Did you write your 10 things down? Because they're very useful. You can take those 10 things that you commonly say to yourself all the time and you can turn them around. We know how to do that now. There's hundreds to choose from. Save your list of 10 most used negative self phrases. We're going to go back to them. Number 4, become aware of the influence of media talk. okay? The media talk is programming that you're receiving from radio, television, daily newspaper, magazines, internet, TV shows, talk show hosts, whatever the heck that you listen to. It's very, it's powerful. It's very powerful. If you listen to political talk radio, you're going to be influenced by somebody else's opinions. I mean, it just is that way. You're going to be influenced by the opinions of others. There's no other way to dice it and slice it. Does that mean that you're not a thinking individual? No. You're very much a thinking individual, but you're going to be influenced by the media. This is called external influences. The reason for this step is to acquaint you with some of these things called external influences. Have you ever considered how many things that you do because you feel obligated to do them? Wow. Okay. Your greatest responsibility. You ready for that? The more aware that you become of all these persuasions and conditioning which you go through in your life, the easier it will be for you to recognize them for what they are and do something about them. Who is in control here? Who is in control? Who do you suppose is responsible for what is programmed into your own mind? You are, of course. Hello. Who's in control? Are you going to take control or are you going to let somebody else define what you think? That's a big question. Once you're aware of the self-talk around you, meaning family, friends, neighbors, coworkers, spouse, whatever, those people influence what you say to yourself. Media, all that, start taking inventory of it. Once you're aware of that self-talk that's around you, both from others and from yourself, it's only natural that you might want to take personal control over that self-talk in your future. The next step is to begin creating your self-talk for yourself. We've already done a lot of that. He wants to just talk about the specifics of doing it and the actual just programming, the general programming of doing it. So how do you create your own self-talk? And that's when he talks about the book called The Complete Book of Self-Talk. And really that's not the name of the book because I could not find it being sold. It's called The Self-Talk Solution. The Self-Talk Solution by Shad Helmstedder. Okay, that's where you get half the book that's dedicated to scripts that are in, he talks about this right here. It's a complete word-for-word self-talk script for each of the 52 areas of daily living, designed to be a ready reference manual for anyone who wants to immediately begin using self-talk in literally any area of their life. Job, home, family, goals, problems, individual potential, etc., etc. Confidence. Self-talk is never exclusive. It's never exclusive. It includes anything and everything that we will ever think about, and any of it or all of it can be rephrased to work a little or a lot better for us. So the 10 phrases, he says, look at these phrases. Here's some examples. Number one, I'm going to go through them because it's a good practice to learn how to turn these around. I'm going to go through them quickly. Things aren't going very well for me at work. That's number one. Number two, I just can't seem to communicate with my son anymore. This could be anybody that you feel like you're having a hard time talking to. Number three, I have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning. That's me right now. I never thought that would be me. When I'm not working, I need to turn that around. In fact, that's what I say to myself in my head, but I never say it out loud. I have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning because I don't need to. Number four, today has been a tough day. Number five, I really need to get more exercise. Number six, I'd like to put more money into savings, but I just don't seem to be able to. Number seven, I wish I had more time. So let's take number one. Things aren't going well for me at work. Turn it around. I enjoy my work. I understand the problems and I get past them. Okay, so notice how he's being specific. He says, I enjoy my work. I understand the problems at work and I get past them. I find solutions and I get past them. Example two, I just can't seem to communicate with my son anymore. Here's how you turn that around. I take the time to listen, to talk, and to communicate. I am patient and I am understanding. It is worth working at and I do. It's worth doing and I do it. So he's being very specific instead of saying, well, this is a problem. Well, how about we talk about what we do about the problem? Number three, I have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning. How about this? Every time the thought comes up, change these words. It's easy for me to get out of bed in the morning. I get up and I get at it. Today's been a tough day. Well, we all know that that's not something that's not true. You have tough days, right? It's not like you're going to sit there and lie to yourself and say, I haven't had a tough day. Repeating anything that implies to your subconscious that you failed will only convince it that failing is a pattern that you should create. That's why you don't want to say it. It's not because you haven't really had a bad day. Yes, you've had a tough day, but remember what you say to yourself. Remember how powerful that is. You're convincing your subconscious that failing is a pattern you should create. Don't do it. You don't have to pretend that the day was wonderful, but it isn't necessary to convince yourself that the day was a disaster either. Today was fine. I feel good about myself, and tomorrow will be even better. Find the silver lining. Today was fine. I feel good about myself. Tomorrow will be even better. Because honestly, if you had a rough day and it was a bad day, think about how you handled it. And I know you guys are amazing individuals of high caliber, quality, personal, you guys are winners in life. You are. So don't look down on yourself about how you handle it. If you had a rough day, think about how you handled it and then be proud of yourself, right? That's something to be really proud of. Number 5, I really need to get more exercise. Okay, so turn it around. It's going to make you put it off over and over and over again. So you're never going to get the exercise if you keep saying that. Say, I exercise every day. I enjoy exercising and I really like how it makes me feel. I like keeping myself in shape mentally and physically. I look good and I feel good, and I daily exercise keeps me that way. I look forward to each day to exercise my body, exercise my mind, and keep myself fit and winning. Notice how detailed that is. Example 6, I'd like to put more money into savings, but I just can't seem to be able to. Using that phrase does not help a bit. It just does the opposite. It creates financial insecurity. So don't say that. I'm good at earning what I need and more. I'm good at saving money. Every month without fail, I put something aside each week, each month, and each year. I become financially more secure. So your subconscious mind has just found it difficult to make things tight financially. And it just did what you told it to do. If you don't make the change, neither will your mind. So if you want to build a better financial base, you have to talk with your subconscious. You got to talk with your subconscious. Last one, I wish I had more time. So here's what you say. I make time and I take time to do what I need to do. I make time and I take the time to do what I need to do. I have a list of things that I make for every single day before I go to bed. 9 times out of 10, I've got a list for what I'm going to do the next day. And I take care of the things that I need to do first. And that's bottom line. If you make a list, you're going to be 90% effective on getting things done. Make a list the night before. Okay, I'm responsible for choosing. Here's another one. I'm responsible for choosing how I spend my time, and I choose to spend my time in a way that creates the greatest benefits in my life. It puts you back in control. It puts you back in control. If you've got a problem area or an area of opportunity that you would like to work on, try writing it out. Use the old words, state what is wrong and what you'd like to do, then take each thought, each sentence, and look at it. What have you said to yourself about it in the past? If the words that you have been giving yourself were words of question, doubt, negative acceptance, turn them around one by one and change them. So here's a short checklist for wording your self-talk in the right way. Is your self-talk stated in the present tense? Is it specific? Does it get the job done without creating any unwanted side effects? He talks about how a lady talked about how she was going to lose weight, and she never did anything about it. And finally, her body got sick, and she went into the hospital, and she lost 13 or 14 pounds. In other words, your mind is going to find a way to get it done. Even if you don't physically go and do what you're supposed to be doing. So make sure, he says in this thing right here, does it get the job done without creating unwanted side effects? You don't want unwanted side effects. You don't want to have to go to the hospital to lose your weight and get sick, do you? Okay, so your subconscious does not understand the difference between right and wrong, which it's hard for me to get that, but oh well. It's not thinking about right and wrong. It's just doing what you tell it. Make sure the words that you give yourself tell your subconscious mind to get the job done in a way that's healthy and beneficial, right? Is it easy to use? That's number 4. Make sure it's simple. You need to use simple words that paint clear pictures. Number 5, is it practical? Okay, you're not going to sit there and say, I'm going to be an NBA All-Star. I'm going to be an NBA All-Star. I'm going to be, okay, no, you're not. I'm 46 years old and I'm a woman. I'm not going to be an NBA All-Star. Make sure it's practical. Okay. Number 6, is it personal and is it honest? So get vulnerable. Really dig deep on those. Okay. I'm going to move on. Does your self-talk ask enough of you? Does it ask enough of you? Okay. Is it so general that it's not going to get you to your destiny? Remember, the whole point of this thing is to get you to your destiny, to help you be the best version of you, to help you uncover untapped potential that's deep inside of you that you never would have uncovered had you not done these steps. So never, ever sell yourself short. Make sure that your self-talk reaches in, grabs hold, and pulls out the best in you. Make your own self-talk tapes. And I think we've talked about that. Recording, repeat it again on the app. We've got the ThinkUp app. We have the voice memo app. You can use that. There's all kinds of apps out there. He talks about the science behind hearing your own voice. And he talks about the outside voice of encouragement and authority. Think about this. Now, this is interesting. I wrote this out on the side. Interesting. Self-talk cassettes work better when the voice on the tape is somebody else's other than your own. Okay. I was like, I thought you wanted me to have my own voice doing this. We tend to believe somebody else telling us good things about ourselves before we believe ourselves. Okay. That makes sense. Because we tend to believe somebody else before we believe our own voice. We don't like to listen to our own voice saying amazing things about ourselves because that just feels weird, right? When you record your new self-talk, enlist the aid of a trusted friend or an associate if you can get somebody to do it. I imagine my husband trying to say all these great things about me into a cassette tape. He would look at me and say, you are crazy. I'm not doing that. But that would be something to say because I don't get to hear those things very often from him. He is a sweet man. He does all kinds of things for me. But it would be really great to hear his voice. Come to think of it, now that I'm saying it and I'm standing here sitting here teaching this to you, I know how powerful the words from my husband would be if I were to hear his voice saying, you are beautiful, you are worthy, you are enough. I mean, just saying them and thinking about hearing that from his voice makes me cry. Think about how powerful it would be if you could find one of your beloved, trusted friends and confidants saying these things about you, these amazing things, and get them on audio somehow. And then hearing them back. Okay, as more that I think about it, I'm not so sitting here thinking, oh, that's interesting and just moving past it. I think it would be such a great idea if we could get the help of someone that we really love, somebody that you're dying to hear those things from. Think about it. My trainer one time told me, Suzanne, you're a rock star at this. You're a beast. You're one of the hardest working people in this gym. You know, I don't ever have to wonder, is she going to show up? Number 2, is she going to do the best that she can do? And number 3, is she just going to put everything out there on the line? You know, and I was like, God, I wish I could tape that so I could hear it later. Because that's really what we strive. We're dying to hear other people's approval of us. And if we could hear their voice saying it to us, I think it would be so powerful. So this is something to really consider doing if we can find somebody that will be willing to do it for us. You provide the cassette, you provide the script. and you provide the recording device and just have them sit down and do it. Even if it takes an hour, it's worth it, right? Don't you think? What a powerful thing to hear. Okay. 18 to 20 minutes, he says. Not an hour, 18 to 20 minutes. Okay, present tense. Needs to be in the present tense. Okay, make sure that your positive self-talk shows you a picture of yourself already completing, already have accomplished the goal. You have to picture yourself in your self-talk as you have already accomplished the goal. Remember, it's levels 3 and 4 that you're seeking to use of self-talk, not 1 and 2. 1 and 2 work against you. 3 and 4 work for you, okay? 5 is that esoterical, higher level, fifth sense, whatever, sixth sense way of speaking to the divine or whatever. So you want to keep it level 3 and 4, okay? End each recording, each of the phrases, one additional time. Okay, hold on. Go back, Miss Shirley, go back. On the tape, repeat each of the suggestions 3 times with a short pause in between each of them. Then go on to the next self-suggestion, again, repeating it 3 more times until you've accomplished your list of self-talk phrases. Okay, so there's value in that. How about repeating them? Because it's one thing to hear "you are beautiful." How about if you hear that 3 times? Wow. That's even more powerful, right? Okay, now here's another thing. End the recording, each of the phrases, 1 additional time each, but this time change I to you. Instead of "I am beautiful," "you are beautiful." You are beautiful. Instead of "I'm a good listener, I enjoy hearing what others have to say," you are a good listener. You enjoy hearing what other people have to say. The reason for doing this, I starred it like 14 times out in the side margin. The reason for doing this is that it recognizes our need to have an external validation. Somebody else telling us that we're doing a good job. Think about how amazing some of you feel when a loved one tells you you've done a great job, or that you look beautiful, or that, wow, I'm so proud of you. You think about what that means to you. So there's the science behind it, okay? Then he talks about music. There's an emotional, and everybody understands that music brings out emotion. Think about when you play a certain particular piece of music and it puts you back into a situation in the past. Maybe you were in your grandma's kitchen and she cooked your favorite meal, and there was a song on and it was Christmas time, and that song always reminds you of a particular thing that she cooked at Christmas time in her house. I mean, that happens for me all the time. Certain songs will put me right back in high school, and I know most of you people will have the same situation. So with that idea and the science behind music brings and elicits emotion. And emotion is the thing that helps us to decide to do something. Remember, people make decisions based on emotion. There is science behind adding music, okay? And that's why I think the Think Up app has music behind it. And then you have to decide, do you want to change? Do you want to make a change? And he talks about how there's so many people that he's heard, and they're sick and tired of their life. They're going to change their job. They're going to move out of state. They're going to get out of their house. They're going to change whatever. They're going to get divorced, get married, have a baby, whatever the thing may be, to make themselves happier, because they are sick and tired of stuff. But yet they don't ever change. They don't ever really change. The change was never real. It didn't work. They took their old selves with them. Changes of the heart are just as fragile as temporary changes of costumes in a play. We can change friends, spouses, jobs, or locations. We're going to still take the same inner self along with us, the same internal identities which made us unhappy, helped us, or got us into trouble in the first place. If we take the old images of ourselves with us wherever we go, into whatever we do, how in the world can we expect to do better the next time we try to do it? So change only occurs either in us as a result of something outside of you that happens to you outside of you, or as a result of something within you that causes the change to take place. You make it happen. So change created by external influences, there is nothing noticeable about it at all, an external influence. This external influence change happens normally and casually. It's the result of the relentless, unseen waves of external influence day after day, hour by hour, shaping and reshaping the shorelines of our thinking. Boy, this is where monotony comes in and mediocrity. Are you ready? This is depressing right here. The conditioning of daily living somehow convinces us that mankind's greatest need, social survival, is also each person's greatest achievement. So I'm a survivor, therefore I'm an achiever. No. I mean, I'm glad that people survived. I'm not saying that people that survive horrible things are not achieving something. Yes, that's an amazing thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting that down. But when you put it in the light of survival as opposed to accomplishment, where you set a goal and you go after something instead of just conquering or just living through something that happened to you, think about the differences there. Okay? So the result is we slowly, unknowingly change, not to achieve, but just to survive in a way that offers us the acceptance of others. We get by. We do what we must. We do as well as we can. We get along with others as well as possible. We play our roles. We do our jobs. We put a little away for the future, and we hope for the best. The dreams that we dreamed as children, we no longer believe. We learn no longer to believe in them. So we're changed by the lives that we live. We have no option other than to be changed by our environment and the lives that we daily go through. For most of us, it's seldom the calamitous change of catastrophic events. It's true. A lot of people don't have catastrophic events that happen to them. I have a friend. I'll be honest here. I'm going to say this, okay? I have a friend who has told me that she doesn't believe in God because she's never needed him. Boy, and she's telling the truth, because she's never had anything bad happen to her. I mean, there's some things that have happened to her, but she just put two and two together, formulated a plan like a normal human would, put one foot in front of the other and just walked through it and made the decisions, and she feels like she did it on her own. She didn't need somebody's help higher than her. Okay? That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. It's seldom the calamitous change of catastrophic events. It is the slow, sure change of environment, the change forced upon us by the world around us. What we become a part of becomes a part of us. What we perceive and what we accept is an important part of what we do, we will become. Wow, that's called monotony and mediocrity, if I've ever heard of that in my life. The alternative is change that's created by personal choice inside of you. I am not going to live like this. I am going to do something about this. What you decide to do next will determine what you do next. What you decide to do next, you're gonna do. Okay? Make the decision to do what you choose to do next, and your next step will be your own. Sit back and let the outside world take that lead, and guess what? It will. It will. You either take the lead or the world is going to lead you around. Decide to determine your own next step and therefore your future as you can. The research of neuroscience has proved that what you determine for yourself, what you conceive and you give your energies to, you will create or call upon your life force, which will turn the dreams that you dream into touchable reality. Wow. Things you can really touch. But we have only recently learned the process that makes it work. Learn how to think what you think, and you will begin to determine and redirect most of your future for yourself. If you learn how to think what you think, then you will put yourself back in control. And the final difference, man has come so far, right? Science, technology, industry, the internet, medicine, appliances. We have more gadgets than the most wealthiest of kings and queens had in their lives only a few decades ago. Through our medicine, our science, we've extended the potential of living more years on earth than ever thought possible in even a few generations in the past. We've conquered the shallow envelope of space, which surrounds us. We've even learned to manage our businesses, some of our environment, and a small part of our destinies, but guess what we have not learned to manage? Our minds. It's time to take control of our minds. What goes on in the mind? It's the heart and substance of everything we're going to ever do. We've got to manage our own minds. Okay, so learning to manage and control and direct the resources of your mind is the greatest challenge you're going to ever face in your life. To control your mind. Think about it. That's the hardest thing you're going to ever learn how to do. It's not what you say, it's what you think. We can control what we say all the time, but we're thinking it. Right? And it happens so quickly that we don't have control over it. We're like, oh, it just got away from me. So you're going to either live like that and continue to experience your mind controlling you because of outside influences and people and things and their beliefs and their thoughts and their opinions and all that stuff, or you're going to tell yourself what to think. And you're going to start to redirect your mind and control the thoughts that go through that mind. And not just what comes out of your mouth, but what goes on in your mind, which is powerful. The key to, and this is like the biggest thing ever right here. The key to all management, the management of others, the management of your resources, and the management of your future is what? Self-management. Self-management. You manage yourself, everything else takes care of itself. Self-management is the difference between living a life of fulfillment and purpose and living out our years frustrated, incomplete, contained by the short-sighted limitations of our own disbelief. Self-management is the final conquest. Its solution is within our reach. Who's the adversary? Ourselves. We've got to manage ourselves. The Bible talks about it. Jesus talks about it. Self-control. Self-control is a huge deal. It's not drunkenness, it's self-control. It's not depravity, it's self-control. It's not perversion, it's self-control. It's not slander, it's self-control. It's not gossip, it's self-control. It's not gluttony, it's self-control. You know what? We can control what we think. And in controlling what we think, we control what we do. Period. End of story. So remember this. You have the greatest gift that you can give to yourself. The greatest gift, you are everything that is. Your thoughts, your life, your dreams come true. You are everything that you choose to be. You are as unlimited as the endless universe. Why? Why are you such an incredible gift to the universe? Why? Why are you so unlimited? Because I am going to say flat out to you this. Why? Because you are a child of the Most High God. And the Most High God is limitless and endless and has more power and authority and dominion over everything. He's all-knowing, and you are a reflection of him. That's what I believe because it's biblical. It's from the Bible. I believe what it says there. You are in the image of the Most High God. You can create things. No, you can't breathe them into existence like he can. You can't think and so it is and then it appears. I mean, that's not That's not what I'm talking about. But you have the spark of the divine in you. Are you divine? No, you are not God. You are godly. You have the capability of showing the attributes of God. You have the capabilities inside of you of achieving the most incredible things. Your mind has the power to create and to imagine. And your body has the capability of healing itself. You are the image of Christ himself. That's why you should take control of your thoughts. That's why you should be kind to yourself and control your thoughts. As I say all of this to you, I'm saying it to myself. I'm preaching to myself. I just had to say that because that's why. Okay, with that, we are going to have our team discussion. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible study of what to say when you talk to yourself by Shad Helmstedder. What a powerful book this has been. And I'm really glad that all of you out there on the internet, in the team, outside the team, have joined us because this has been such an eye-opening study. Thank you and good night.